Hello, it's Alexa Fisher. How are you? Of alexafisher.com. Today I'm excited to talk about video, specifically being on camera as a teacher, as a blogger, as someone who has an opinion that they want to share with the world. Because, video is one of the best way for your audience to see who you really are. Not just your magnificent words that you put on an article or the design work that you do or some product that you make. There is an energy of a person, which is exciting. So one thing that I've learned from all the clients that I've worked with and the questions that I've received and the teaching that I've done is that so many people are intimidated to put themselves on camera. And I absolutely 100% sympathize, empathize with that position, because it's strange, right? It's strange to sort of, one, see yourself, but two, there's an intimidation there because people are looking at you and judging you, because that's what we do. So just for those of you who don't know, a little bit of background about myself is I've had a lot of training as a professional actress and a lot of experience as a professional actress. So for years I was doing TV shows and certainly a ton of commercials, and there was a certain moment in my life where I decided, okay, I'm ready to give back in a way, take all of the skills that I've learned and really give them to everyday people who are non-industry, entertainment industry individuals, so that they could truly, truly shine. And for me, what happened in the process was just amazing, because, while some celebrities are absolutely lovely, there are others, most celebrities are just people. And yet when people, everyday people like you and me, can feel like a celebrity, when they can feel like they can light up a room, when they feel like they can share their voice and people will listen, it's a beautiful thing. Because everybody, no matter who you are, no matter where you live in the world, has a message. Everybody does. Even if their message is as simple as, have a nice day. It's your message. And when you have the confidence to share that, incredible things happen. The world is a much better place. So let's talk about video. So because of my background as an actress, I get this question a lot. People think, oh, well, it's easy for you, right? You're acting. But I'm not acting. This is the crazy thing. When I started to put myself on camera as Alexa, there was a huge adjustment. All of a sudden, I realized I was not a character. I had to really own who my thoughts, beliefs, what I was teaching, commanding the material. There was so many different things that it was a shift from just playing a character, which is a very different skill set. So in the beginning, I was nervous, and it was not easy. And when I was making video blogs, or my first online video course that I taught, Speak Up, Stand Out, which now has thousands of students, in the beginning, it was a painstaking process for me to put myself on camera, and I'd be in the middle of a 7-minute take and I would sneeze and then I would curse and I would say, oh no, woe is me, I have to take that, take over again. So I want to share with you some of the tips that I learned from my own experience. Now I have almost 8,000 students that I've taught online. I have hundreds of blog post videos at alexafisher.com. I work with people all over the world. It's awesome, but it started with my mindset. And that's where I want to give my first tip. Your mind is a pretty awesome thing, right? I mean, whatever we focus on expands according to the law of attraction. And we know this to be true. If you're having a good day, if you're in a good mood, you start to attract those people to you. On the flip side, if you're a complainer, a moaner, those people, ooh, they love to gossip. They just find you too, so they can dish right along with you. So when we talk about video, one of the biggest comments that I get is, I hate it. I feel ugly on camera. I don't know what to say. I don't have the right equipment. People are going to think I feel unprofessional. So your mind is the most critical thing for you to adjust before you start this endeavor, for sure. One of the little tricks that I share with my clients, if they have a goal, if they have a big presentation, if they have a big job interview, we want to find one anchoring statement that is going to train your mind to focus on what you want to achieve. So let's say you want to be confident on camera. We need to take that anchoring statement, put it in the present tense, as if you already are amazing on camera, right? We live it right now, the feeling of that. I am confident on camera. Then you take that phrase, whether it's I'm confident on camera, people love to watch my videos, whatever that statement is, that sort of dream scenario that you want, you need to write it down on a Post-it. Now, I have little custom Post-its that I give some of my clients and special students. You can see it here. Can you see it? There it is. It says, "You are awesome. Go for it," with a little light bulb. And if you want some, send me your address and I'll send you some. But this anchoring statement is something that I want you to play around with. Find that singular statement. I am confident on camera. People look forward to my videos. I now get emails like that. That's so crazy. I'm like one person, you know? I'm one person. And if I can make somebody's day a little brighter or give them some insight that can help them nail that interview, or to be confident when they're giving a toast at a wedding, or to really ask for that well-deserved raise, if something that I just share to my unknown people out there, to the interwebs, it's a beautiful feeling. So get into that mindset of anything is possible. Find that anchoring statement, write it down on a Post-it, many Post-its, and put them everywhere. Because here's the crazy thing. You've got this inner critic inside your voice. You've got it. You've got it inside your head. We all do. We all do, even me. And you need to make friends with this. You need to make a decision that your thoughts and your intent is stronger than any of those habitual thoughts that are telling you that you are less than. So find that statement, write it down, put it on Post-its, put it in your bathroom, in your car, on the refrigerator. And guess what? If you don't want to have the statement written out so that your coworkers can see that and might think you're a little bit funny, then just make a symbol and put even a blank Post-it. The ones that I give people, they just put the blank Post-it and it reminds you. So when you have that negative thought, boom, you can switch it and make it positive, because you will need that positive energy every time you sit down in front of the camera, whether it's to practice, whether it's to actually deliver your content, do a live Google Hangout, whatever your thing is, you're going to need a positive energy. Which brings me to my second tip. Energy is contagious. That's right. Energy is contagious. If I am excited to chat right now, take an hour to sort of share my insights and know that there's somebody watching. Look, I can see there are viewers watching. This is exciting to me, and I may not know who you are, but I love this. And so my energy of enthusiasm and cheering you on, that's what some people say when they work with me. It's like, I've got my virtual cheerleader. It's amazing. That is contagious. On the flip side, if I was freaking out, because, if you've seen, there's a post that I have about Google mishaps, because Google Hangouts and I do not always on the same page. Just saying. You will know that if I was freaking out, it would really make you feel uncomfortable for me. Oh, she's freaking out. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Oh my goodness, watch her crash and burn. It's awful. Ooh. Because there's a shared energy. So when you're thinking about doing video, when you're thinking about sitting in front of the lens, get to that place where you feel good. You just feel good, whether it's before you sit down to work, play some of your favorite music. Go wrestle with your dog, eat some wonderful food, just get your vibration up. So you're just like, yeah, let's just do this because it's fun. That's the point. And even if I am working with big CEOs, and I have, and major people who are so important, or celebrities, oh boy, do I have stories, which I'm not going to share. When I'm on set working with people who, that they have, this, kind of high stature that society says, anyway, we're not going to get into that. Don't let me tell my Hollywood stories. There is something that you have to understand, that your energy is what's going to drive your enthusiasm. It's going to be that thing that make people feel that you relate to them. There is no way to be, which is my third point. I'm not going to blast through all my points. I do want to ask questions, by the way. And as far as I know, I have enabled the question app of Google Hangout. So please send me your questions if you have this as we're going, because once I go through the tips, I do want to address some questions. And I did get some emailed to me, so I can address those. But send them my way if you can, and if I can figure out how to do that. So anyway, your energy is absolutely critical. The more fun you're having, the more passionate you are about your material, that energy is going to come across to your students and clients. That's just the way it is. And if you can look at aspects of your life, you will see that this is true. It's a shared energy. This is how we are as human beings. But a lot of people have a false notion of what does it mean to be an on-camera instructor. Now, again, the inspiration for this Google Hangout was to specifically speak to the people who are considering creating an online class. Now, as I said in the beginning, I'm lucky enough to have, I don't know, probably, 7,000, 8,000 students that I've worked with online. And when people think about being an online instructor, maybe there's some preconceived notions about what does it mean to teach online? What does it mean to be an instructor, a professor? And maybe you're thinking that you need to assume a certain personality, that you need to be an authority and you need to speak a certain way, because we do this, right? If you walk into a room and everybody's wearing a business suit, you sort of modify your behavior slightly, and maybe you start to speak in a certain way. And that is okay to a certain degree. I'm certainly very different when I'm working with a room full of teenagers than I am in a room full of executive people. A little bit different, but at the core, I'm still me. And the truth is that people love to learn from you, the unique you, the you in your element, the way that you move, the way that you express yourself. There is no one way to be. So even when I work with people and they say, well, what do I do with my hands? What do I do with my body language? What do I do with all that? How do I had someone text me about how to actively invite people in. I'm going to figure this out and talk at the same time. You're going to watch me multitask. So there is a piece of me that understands that while you may have assumptions about how you need to be in any given situation, the truth is what people want is you. So let me be more specific. If you're teaching, I don't necessarily want you to think that you need to be an authority, the way that you think authorities speak, or to be very formal because you're a teacher, because maybe that's the way that you were taught. No, I want you to feel comfortable to be yourself. And so while someone may say, and I get this all the time, I want to learn how to use, your vocal intonations or the way you use your hands. But the truth is that that's just me. That's how I speak. And truly, whether I'm giving a big workshop or I'm doing a big speaking engagement, I am the same, but this is me. And that doesn't mean that I am teaching you to be me. I am welcoming you to be you. Beautiful, authentic, fabulous, fabulous you. So how do you do that? How do you practice? Well, the good news is this. Video used to be one of those things that in the future, when I was growing up, the idea of that being like a video phone was like the most crazy, Jetsons, if you're from the US and you know that reference, it was a futuristic cartoon. It was like, this would be the most crazy futuristic thing to have a video phone. But the reality is that we're here. We're, FaceTime and Google Hangouts and all of this. You have an opportunity to chat with people that you know all the time. So I want to invite you to do a really critical element here about practicing. Many instructors are so geared up on, I want to make my video class, I want to get practice, I want to produce my content, I want to do my video blog, and that's great, and you can. But the art of getting comfortable on camera starts with low stakes situations. That means what I call low stakes, meaning that there's no consequence, right? If you do a video call with your mother, there's no consequence. It's a private call, but you're practicing. What are the specifically things that you're practicing? Let's talk about that. One, you are getting familiar with looking at a lens. Now, you know, because you're staring at my face on the screen, that your eye is looking at my face. And when you're doing a video chat or you're doing a webcam interview, the temptation is to look at the screen. Now, you can see right now, you can watch me. I am looking at myself on the screen, which is really weird because I'm looking at myself. But more importantly, I'm not looking at you because you are on the other side of the lens, right? And when I'm looking at you, you feel like we're having a conversation because that's how we are in real life. We look at each other in the eye. And if we don't, we feel it's a little bit off-putting, like you don't really trust the person that you're talking to, or they seem really distracted, right? Don't you hate that at a party where you're standing in front of someone and they're actually like scanning the room? It's so annoying to me, so annoying. So what I want you to understand is that your connection with the lens is everything. But that's different because we don't do that in normal life. Not even as an actress. You're not generally, unless you're pitching things on TV as a spokesperson, really looking at a lens. It's different. So we need to practice. So I have a very simple way to practice, okay? It involves some props because I love me my props. Now, here's a little pack of little miniature Post-its, just little blank Post-its. And here is a hole puncher. Boop, we punch a little hole in said. Now, next what we do is I'm going to create, hold on a second here, I'm getting crafty. I'm going to create little eyes and a little smiley face mouth to put around my Post-it. See that? Hi. Then, when we're working with a lens, and I'm going to demo this on an iPad mini, when we put our Post-it around the lens while we're filming, and again, you may need to support this with a little additional extra tape, we can be looking at, can you see that? That little nose, you see the Post-it, boop, there's the Post-it hole. It goes right over the nose, so that basically you're keeping the lens clear, but you're reminding yourself to look at the lens because your audience is on the other side of the lens. Now, because you're not used to this, because it's different and new, I want you to decide to make video calls to your friends, to your family. You know, if you can't connect with them, you can make a video to them. But the point is, it's critical for you to take the time to set up opportunities for you to practice in low stakes situations. So again, getting a few little tools. You can practice this without this. This is not mandatory. This is not mandatory, although cute. But it gives you a very, very specific tool to get yourself comfortable so that you're not habitually doing this. Now, here's what happens, because as you can tell right now I'm looking at myself on screen. And what happens is then automatically your brain starts to say, oh, my hair looks weird. Oh, wait a minute, I'm going to adjust this. Okay, hold on. Maybe maybe my back. It just gets you distracted and it puts your attention back on yourself and not on the person that you're talking to, who's on the other side of the lens. So in order to really rehearse or to get comfortable on camera, don't start with your material. Don't start with your content. Don't start with your blog post. Don't give yourself that deadline and that pressure, because the voice of criticism will pop up in your head. You haven't practiced. This is not a normal, natural thing to do effortlessly right off the bat. And you want to make sure that you practice in low stakes situations where you're really just connecting with someone, singing them happy birthday, or just checking in on someone or sending them a video message. And for example, if you're in a country where, let's say it's not easy to connect with someone via video, then just record it on your own. But record the message as if you're going to save it, pop it up on YouTube under unlisted and send them a video that way. But the point is you want to practice. Now, the next point that I want to talk about is, what do you want to say? Now, you can go on and on and on in video, and it's easy, especially because you don't want to be bogged down with lots of notes. You don't want to be looking at your notes excessively, and so you're constantly kind of reading and kind of looking. That's not an engaging video to me, because then you have the feeling, right, that I'm totally distracted because I'm looking at my notes and I'm reading something and I'm only half here with you. Really great video is, in my opinion, concise, engaging, fun. It's almost like a little dance. But in order to enjoy that experience, you have to prepare. So in the preparation piece, now let's just go back to the video that you're going to do. Let's say you're making a video message for somebody. And this is the not the same as just having a video conversation. A video conversation is great. But again, hold on a second. I'm going to back up a second. If you're having a video conversation, like let's say you actually do FaceTime or whatever with a family member, of course you're looking at their face because you want to see them. But here's the trick. I don't want you to really be looking at them. I want you to practice imagining them, but still looking at the lens. That's the key. So in a live conversation, look at the lens, have the conversation, but you're imagining their beautiful face on the other side of that lens, but you keep your eyes connected to that lens. It's so funny to me, even, and I think I commented this on one of my blogs, but I'm astonished that CNN, they're now doing webcasts with people all the time, interviews. And people who are being interviewed by Anderson Cooper or whomever are sitting there doing the interview, looking at Anderson Cooper, but this is what they're doing. Yes, it was a terrible situation. Yes, I agree with you, blah, 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 blah. But they're missing that opportunity to connect with millions of viewers with their eyes. And that's all the good stuff. That's where the good stuff happens. So when you're having that FaceTime chat and you're checking in on your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, whatever, enjoy the conversation, hear their voice, train your eyes to look at the lens. Now, the other option is to set up a video call where you're going to record yourself. And again, this is really easy. You can get little devices such as this one. I go over a lot of these devices in my class, Web Video 101, where we talk about how you can create great looking videos using nothing more than your phone or an iPad or your smartphone. And there's devices that you can lock this in place, similar to your built-in camera on your computer, so you can sort of set it up for yourself and you can create a video. So one of the exercises is to make a video message to somebody. So if you want to just wish somebody or congratulate them on, let's say they got a new job and you just want to congratulate them, and instead of shooting them an email or writing a handwritten note, which by the way I just love, you can make a little video for them. But I want you to do it with this exercise in mind. You are practicing. You're practicing delivery, you're practicing the energy, your sort of body language, your fluidity. You're practicing the preparation of your content. That's what I want to focus on right now. To your friend, to your casual contact, your low stakes situation where you're practicing, I want you to say why you're calling or why you're sending this message, a few little inside tidbits, and then a little sign off, right? So I'm going to review that. 1, 2, 3. Why you're making your video message, a few little inside things about, a few little tasty morsels of conversation, and then a final statement, a sort of summation, if you will. Like, just make it short and sweet. So what does that look like, right? So this is sort of a template for how you practice. So let's just say my friend Amy just did a great job with a really important interview. So I can say, now I'm doing a little practice here. Hey Amy, it's Alexa. I just wanted to send you a little video message to tell you I am so proud of you. Headline. I know that you worked really hard for this interview. I know it was not easy to move from one job to the next. And I'm just really amazed that you just got focused, really asked for what you want, and you were able to articulate it beautifully. That is so awesome. So enjoy the job. You deserve it. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Short and sweet. Headline, the sort of why you're talking, why you're making the video message, a few key ideas, and then a little summation. This is your best formula for practicing your content for your classes. Because ideally, and obviously your content's going to be far more rigorous, in terms of in-depth. But I really want to encourage you to really outline it that way. Sort of what's the topic that we're going to cover in this video lecture. Then the meat of it is however long that meat needs to be. But again, it should be very clear, very concise. You may want to summarize what that content is at the end to sort of reinforce what you learned. And then maybe a summary. And if you're doing, let's say, a course series, it'll be up next, we're going to be covering equipment and all of the different pieces that you can have in order to create the best videos. Okay, something like that. But that's sort of the rough outline. And the more that you practice, the more that you can play around with what feels good, what's making me a little bit nervous still or uncomfortable. But know that it's really time. It's really time. It's just the amount of times you put yourself in front of the camera where you don't judge yourself too much, where you just have fun and you're very, very specific. Now, we're almost at the halfway mark. So what I want to do is take a moment to see if I can figure out from a technology point of view how to let people ask questions, because for the individuals who are here live, I want to hear what you have to say. So let me take a look at how I do this. Hold on a second. They're telling me things. Maybe I can enable chat. Ooh. If anybody can see this, the chat, I did put on my group chat thing. If you can see this, start chatting away. If not, I'm going to have to do some more things. Add apps. Oh, Google Hangouts, you silly thing. That says I can invite people. No, I don't want to invite people. You're already here. Okay, here's what we're going to do. If you have a question right now, my fabulous viewers, will you go ahead and email me at alexa@alexafisher.com. Send me your questions that way. We're going to go old school. We're going to go old school right now. And then I'm going to look a little distracted for a moment, and I am going to read a few of your questions so I can ask them very specifically. And if not, I do have a few questions that were already asked me in advance. So let me pop over, and I'm going to listen and see if you have any of them coming in. So Alexa@Alexa and Fisher is spelled Fischer. Alexa@alexafisher.com. Let's see if anything is coming in. I know my internet's going to be like, no, I'm so slow. You're on camera. Okay, so while that's coming on and I'm waiting to see some questions, what I'm going to do is cover, oh, I had it in my head and it just escaped. This is a great example. So let's say, for example, you're doing something live even, and you lose your train of thought. I am here to tell you that the world does not fall down. I did this Google Hangout, I think it was like 6 months ago, and it was a complete train wreck because for whatever reason, it's challenging. I'm now getting texts from somebody that says, I think you need to invite or activate people as active participants to ask questions. If only I knew how to do that, I would do that. Anyway, but my point is, when you're doing something and you stumble, where you make a mistake, those are the best moments to show that you're a human being, to show that it is not a big deal. You know, I was doing a play at the Mark Taper Forum, and I've shared this, maybe I even shared this before when I was having my Google Hangout meltdown. Oh my God, there's, in fact, Teresa just asked the question, how do you handle when you make a mistake in a video? So this is what I'm just talking about. So I was on stage at the Mark Taper Forum, which is one of the most prestigious theaters here in Los Angeles. And I was working with the amazing actor John Spencer, who was on West Wing. And he's a huge, huge actor here who has since passed, John. And we had a technical malfunction, and all the lights in the theater, there's like 1,000 people and the lights went on, and it just got crazy. And it was so cool to watch how he handled it. And we broke out of character, and he went to the audience and he said, this is why you come to live theater. You come to live theater to feel the excitement of actors happening in the moment, creating something. And you don't know what's going to happen. So right now, you're experiencing this really awesome theatrical moment. And I loved it. It was so amazing to be on stage when this was happening, and the energy of the audience. And so he was so super calm, cool, collected. And he said, stop. He looked at us on stage. He checked in with me, said, Alexa, let's go back to, he mentioned the line. He looked up at the stage manager and said, let's bring the cue back to, and we all sort of looked at each other, and we, boom, went right back to the scene. And it was so cool. So think about your own life. You know, those moments where something awkward happens, if someone literally trips on stage when they're going to, you know, accept an award. We just had the Golden Globes here in the state. So what do you do in those moments? It's when people admit it and kind of like let it roll off you and have a good time. It's okay. It's totally okay. And when you admit that humanness and you kind of like put everybody at ease, your energy is contagious. It's awesome. So when you make a mistake in a video, unless it completely derails, then either admit it and move on, or step back afterward and say, do you think I could do it a little bit better? Without creating a drama in your head, like, oh, I'm so bad, I'm not good at this. Forget that. It's useless. Just say, okay, I have a choice. Is it worth it to me to redo it? Great. If you're going to be hyper perfectionist and you're never going to launch your class because of it, move on. Move on. People love to see you stumble a little bit and be real. That's what people love about the work that I do. So I have another question from Paul Jarvis. Dude, I love your work so much. Anyone watching, you don't know him. He's a total rock star and a rat person. And you'll know that if you go to his site, what that's all about. Anyway, in real life, you talk really fast and staccato. When doing video, it comes off as gruff and rude. How do I balance my real persona and not coming across like a bit of a beep on camera? That's really interesting. I don't think, again, if the way that you speak is sort of fast clipped and that's who you are, fine. But one of the ways that you can switch it instantly is a smile. Now, I'm not talking about like, yay, like like this is like a new person for me, right? No, but I'm talking about energy and enthusiasm and having a good time. I happen to listen to your podcast, which I think is fantastic. And there is a playful energy there. There's a casualness there that I think is great. And it's the same with video if you are connected to your audience. Again, when you are looking on the other side of the lens, they're real people that you are talking to. So my recommendation is to be really specific in your mind. Who are you talking to? Who is that person that you really want to help? I have a client that I helped, and this guy had this amazing transformation of his life. It was amazing. And sometimes when I'm creating content, I think of him. I think of that person because that's how he found me. I was speaking to my people. Now, Paul, your people are the rat people, which again, look up Paul, he's amazing. You'll know what that means. But you know, my kind of people are the people who know that they are capable of something more, know that they've been looking for someone to cheer them on and give them just a few tools to have fun and really be able to express themselves, right? And when I really think about who I'm speaking to, it's one person. It's kind of that guy. And so when I'm delivering content, I mean, right now, Paul, I'm talking to you, but I'm seeing you, I'm imagining you. So going back to that idea of who are you speaking to, if you are self-conscious about the way, or you have a perception that maybe I come off like a little gruff, you can switch that by thinking about who you're talking to, you know, and speaking to them. Imagine that you're delivering that message to them, whether it's Alex Franzen or Marie Forleo or whatever. Me, doesn't matter. Talk to them. And then see how your energy changes, because the idea is to merge who you are on camera with who you are on video. And the minute you adjust your mind that way to talk to them, boom, you're right there. And sort of your energy, it's there. It's who you are. Don't be afraid to show your true self. Don't be afraid to show your true self. You do it in so many aspects of your online life, and video is no different. And as I confessed to you recently, I'm a social media introvert. I don't know what to say on Facebook. I don't know what to say. So I totally get that it's weird, but that's the trick with video, completely. So I got another question. Thank you, Paul, by the way. I got another question, and sometimes it was talking about the length of videos, about 20 minutes to 45 minutes. And it says, and this is from Iran. Okay, so what can I do to avoid being boring? Okay, that's interesting. I think all the stuff that I talked about before about being boring is when you're really in your passion, you are not boring. It's impossible to be boring when you're passionate about what you're doing. It's impossible. So the boring part I'm not worrying about, but the length of video is interesting. I think on the whole, people have the attention spans of gnats. And if you're not familiar with what a gnat is, it's a little pesky fly-like thing that kind of gets in your face. So if you are breaking down content, if you're creating content, I think that the more concise you can be, the better. If you're covering something, see if there are points within your content, because 45 minutes is an incredibly long time for someone to stay engaged in front of their computer. I like to have a target time of lessons to be no more than 5 to 7 minutes. I can put them in modules. In fact, I'm launching a big group course at the end of March, and I have it in 6 major modules to say, okay, people, we're going to be talking about this right now, presentation skills, so that if you've got a big event in front of your company and that you want to pitch a new product, but there are 6 or 7 lessons within that module so that people can get really laser focused with one actionable exercise, and it's short. Because people who are doing online content, from what I can tell and how I consume online content, is you book out time, but to stay sustained and following a train of thought with someone on camera for 45 minutes is really long. So it's not a question of you being boring, it's a question of you being concise. So take your material that you think you'd want to put in 45 minutes, break it down into 3 or 5 different chunks or sections, and then see if you can record that way. You can still string it together under one what I call module or section heading, and that might be a little bit better. So I've got another question here from Kate. Do you know if Google Hangouts video always has a bit of a time delay? Are you having time delay? Oh, what a drag. I hate that. So the voice is first and the lips later. You know what? Me and Google, oy vey. I don't know. I tested this. I didn't have a voice delay. It could be having to do with the internet connection. I have no idea. So just bear with me. But again, it's that whole, is the juice worth the squeeze? I tend to be, back in the past, a bit of a perfectionist and wanting everything to look just so. And then it stops you. So I would much rather you get the material, even though if it's a little annoying that it's not in sync. Hopefully when we do the recording on YouTube, it'll be in sync and then you can watch it later and be far less annoyed. But anyway, if you are, it's funny, Kate mentions that she's someone who hides behind a pen and a paper. Well, I work with a lot of people who say that they're a backstage person, that's just who they are. And while it's totally fine to say, look, I don't need to be in front of the camera, I don't need to be in the limelight, that's okay. But if you're someone who wants to be there and is sort of upset by the fact that you've been limiting yourself by not opening up this channel of video, which I think is going to be growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as audiences want more connectivity to the people they're learning from. Just make sure that you give yourself the ability to say, I'm more than my concepts. I'm more than how I would describe myself right now. You are writing the story of who you are every day. And it's funny how we say, okay, well, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a teacher, I like this, I don't like that. But you have the ability to do whatever you want. So giving yourself this idea that it doesn't have to be perfect. I can play, I can have fun, I can share, I can see what happens. Slowly, slowly, you build that confidence muscle so your world expands. And I can tell you, Kate, just because you're here, just because something that I am saying resonates with you tells me that you're ready to not hide behind your pen and your paper. You're ready to think a little bit bigger. You're ready to say, you know, what is that message that I've had that I've been wanting to share with somebody, or really confess that, man, my dream gig is to, like, you know, start a blog about, you know, kite flying. It doesn't matter what it is. But if there's something inside of you that has been wanting to sort of come out and play, you have come to the right playground, because my whole work is about people who are supporting one another doing just that. And video is just one of those great tools. Communicating is everything. It's about connection. It's about waking up and saying, like, I am really curious about the world, and I'm going to go find other people who are curious too. That's it. It doesn't have to be a TED Talk, you know? It doesn't have to be like a mind-blowing presentation to your boss. But it could be walking into your workplace and tuning into the people around you and saying, hey, Bob, how are you doing? I've been noticing you seem a little, concerned. Is there anything I can do to help? That's connection. That's in the business of dream making. When your ability to just sort of go, I can, invites possibility. So I'm getting a little expansive here for a moment, but your comment prompted me to do so. So yeah, don't worry about being a perfectionist. Even though I hate the lip not being in sync, what are you gonna do? Google has given us so much. I guess we shouldn't be so critical. Anyway, so my friend from Italy, ciao, Danilo, ciao, come stai? He tells me that there's a symbol with 9 small round squares on the top of the video. Oh, okay, let's go back. I've been looking at my email. Okay, they're on my video with 9 little squares. Oh, maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. Does that do something? I'm looking, Danilo. Let's see. What is it? Oh, my goodness. I don't know how to open this up. Next time I'm going to do this a little bit better, people. I'm going to do a little more research before I do Google Hangouts. But my intention to do a Google Hangout was really just another form of connection. I am so interested in helping people. And sometimes when you do have a blog, or you have all these thousands of students online and everybody is, typing questions, the Google Hangout is a way for you to, see how I actually teach, but really answer your questions. So if you have a few more, I'm going to go back to the old school way of looking at my email, but I'm going to invite a few more different questions, because I am looking at the lens. I don't have to look at my face on Google Hangouts. But it's exciting to me. I mean, I think that what I've noticed, I've been with Udemy, which is, it's a online teaching platform. So I offer courses there. I am opening up a very special masterclass on my own website at the end of March. But what's exciting is that bringing your expertise or your gift, as it were, to the world is such an exciting opportunity, and we're just at the beginning. I mean, this Google Hangout right now is going to seem like a horse and buggy in no time, because with the technology, and as it grows, there is going to be this feeling of connection and collaboration where like minds, and maybe sometimes non-like minds, come together to really solve problems or to help one another. And that's amazing. I mean, to see that march that happened in Paris recently after that horrific tragedy just gave me so much hope for the future. Hope that we can help one another with the skills that we have to share. So in the same way where I struggle with certain aspects of my business, I can seek like-minded individuals who are teaching and learn from them. So we're in a shared sort of open source kind of community now, and a consciousness, which is really, really exciting. So you learning how to overcome some of your fears and really get in front of the camera is huge. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Someone had asked me a question earlier about how do you get kind of relaxed before you go on camera, especially because it will be very natural for your heart to start to race, for you to get tightness in your stomach. Sometimes people get very lack of breath. So when you get nervous, your stomach actually tightens a little bit, and maybe your voice gets a little bit quiet and your mouth gets dry, okay? Very, very normal. Again, when you go back to what we talked about in the beginning, which is really learning how to practice with friends and family, then that sort of can go away a little bit. But also, I want you to know that at any time, you can breathe. So right now, breathe with me. When you breathe, you're allowing your breath to be supported. You're actually allowing more space for air to come through and support your vocal cords, your vocal production. You're relaxing your shoulders. You're just getting into a place where you're much more, you're just much more relaxed, which again is sort of allowing you to have a little bit more playful energy and not be so uptight. So before you go to shoot your video and before you hit play, even if it's just to record a happy birthday message to your nephew, I want you to breathe. I want you to sort of shake out, loosen up your neck. There's really funny videos about, people warming up their voice before they, perform on stage. And in fact, one of my classes, I have a complete vocal warm-up that I lead people through to get your voice, confident and comfortable, articulating well. But really, like, sort of give yourself a moment to relax. If you're really, really nervous about it, it's a great idea for you to take a vigorous walk or a workout before you shoot video. I mean, to even dance, dance a little bit. Just get out some of the nervousness and like physically release some of that energy. That's huge. So I love this idea that you're really in control of this. So, do something physical to kind of release that energy. Also, on a physical point of view, there are caffeinated drinks, for example. Those are going to accelerate your heart rate. They're also going to dehydrate you. So you want to make sure to avoid some of that before you do your video, because you might be a little overamped or your mouth might be dry. So you always have a glass of water. Now, I am such a talker that I forgot to drink said water, but the point is I have it here. So having water ready is always a good thing. I'm getting another question here. Danilo, ciao. He's showing me the little box. Danilo, I know that little box, but I don't see it on my little broadcast. So we're going to try one more time. We have 10 minutes left. Bear with me. If I hang up on you, I'm apologizing in advance. But I think I'm going to see how I do this. In my box that I'm looking at, Danilo, I don't see that. I don't see that. That's in my regular Google Plus page. So we're going to go over here to this Google Plus page and see if they're going to do something. Now you're watching me look at my computer. Not so interesting. We're going to go old school again. Alexa at alexafisher.com. Send me your questions if you are new to the Hangout and you want to have your question answered. I welcome it. I am actually on my email page so I can see all of your questions. The other thing that I would love to encourage you is that a lot of time people have a great procrastination as it relates to creating video. And we all do this, right? If we have a big goal, maybe we'll kind of keep on pushing that deadline out and out and out. I know I have. So what I want you to do in order for you to really take action, one, congratulate yourselves because you are watching this Google Hangout, all right? If you're watching, that means you are committed to creating video, to putting yourself on video. So absolute hats off to you, absolutely fabulous. The next step is doing something with it, right? Because while you are getting some insights right now, you do need to put this into action for yourself. That's when you empower yourself to actually do, to get the knowledge. The knowledge comes from inspiration and action. So I would love to hold you accountable to the action itself, which is I want you to commit to doing one video call. So if you have someone that you can do a video call with, let's say you can do it through FaceTime or whatever technology you have. Do a live video call. This is just a conversation. But instead of looking at the person on the screen, I want you to look at the lens. You can use this little post-it that we talked about before. You can use that if you want. But I want you to train yourself to look at the lens, because that's where you're practicing. You're practicing being totally natural, imagining the face of the person that you're talking to. This is critical. It's a total game changer. So that's your first assignment. Your second assignment is to produce a video call for somebody. So I want you to decide that you're going to sing happy birthday. You're going to congratulate somebody. You're just going to check in and say hello to somebody. You know, you don't want to be a total weirdo, but something that makes sense where someone wouldn't be like, that is so bizarre that you just sent me a video. But I want you to produce a video. Now, sometimes these files on a technical note can be quite large. So if you choose to produce this video, you can upload it onto YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you can get a YouTube channel, a YouTube account, and you can mark it as unlisted, meaning that they can see it if they have the link, but it's not like projected to the world. And I think that's probably the right etiquette. So go ahead and find a way to both make your video call and to make your structured video so that you can get a little bit of practice. But put this commitment in the calendar right now after the call. Because if you don't do it, then something will come up. But instead of giving yourself a deadline to, I absolutely have to finish my online, my video course by this date, and all my videos have to be produced, you have to understand that it takes practice. It takes time. Right now we're focused on the online getting comfortable on camera, which is really critical. But your first effort should not be your content for the course that you want to make thousands of dollars on. It's too much pressure on you. We have to find something that's sort of easier, that kind of integrate into your life in a much easier way. And then you're going to find that when it's time for you to actually produce that content, then it's going to be much easier for you. You're just going to be more confident looking at that lens. You're going to know that, oh boy, okay, I've done that a few times. I realize that I still really am, like I have this habit of not smiling, or I speak really quickly and I look, or my eyes dart around a lot. And then you have time to identify that behavior and then just adjust it slightly, but not for your video course. Adjust it slightly with more video messages, right? This is the way you give yourself feedback, very gentle, very compassionate feedback, so that you can get just a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. So that by the time that you are comfortable and confident doing this, you don't even think about it. It's no longer about your performance. You don't waste any energy on that. You're really focused about the material, the connection, the experience. So as I said, it just gets easier and easier. So be kind to yourself. Don't judge yourself too much. Set times to practice. And when you create those videos, very compassionately, look to see, how could I make it just a little bit better? How could I share a little more of my own personal warmth? You know, and again, the easiest thing in the whole world is to smile. You don't have to sit there and smile the whole time like you're a newscaster, but you have to find that place where your energy is in what I call camp positive. Again, some people have, I took a class one time, an online class, of someone who was teaching, I was curious about the US Constitution, if you must know, and I was taking someone's class, and he was so dry and so boring, and he was a very like kind of staid history professor, that I was like, no way. It doesn't matter even if what you're saying is absolutely genius. I cannot focus on it too much. So try to be compassionate when you're looking at yourself, so that, you know, when you are connected to that energy and enthusiasm, your genuine desire to make an impact on someone's life, you're not going to be boring. You're going to be in flow, but it does take practice. So make sure you give yourself those opportunities in low stakes situation to be free, to be fun, and to not criticize yourself and to bring that energy down. You need to encourage yourself, to cheer you on. Now, for your, I would love to help you just a little bit more. For those of you who are watching, I want you to commit to doing a video message, and when you do, you are welcome to send it to me, and I can offer you some feedback. All you do is you need to send me a link to Alexa at alexafisher.com, FISCHER.com. And let me take a look. And I am super happy to offer you some feedback, because I know how nerve-wracking it is to do something for the first time. But it's a concept that it's difficult. It's just a concept. And the more that we can pull that concept down, re-engineer it in your mind, encourage a positive thought by your anchoring thought of how confident you're going to be on camera, how people are excited to get your videos and to watch and learn from you on camera, it just changes everything. And so you're here, you've made the commitment, you can absolutely do this, and it's true. I am here to cheer you on. So I am in the process right now of creating a more in-depth course about giving people really in-depth training and methodology about how to be confident on camera. But it's critical that I deliver content that is meaningful to you, the people who really are looking for it. So please help me out. And on the messages maybe below and the YouTube link that I'm going to ultimately post, write comments. What questions do you still have? What information are you longing for that I didn't cover, or perhaps I could go more in depth on? I am completely open to hosting more of these Google Hangouts so that we can share ideas. I will, in fact, learn how to do this a little bit better to activate the questions. But in the meantime, send your questions in the comment links below. I am monitoring it, so I can either answer there, or we'll schedule another upcoming Google Hangout, which I'll announce on all my social media. And you can join me again, because I would love to see you. In fact, I would love to maybe even do a live Q&A critique, so we can talk about that as well. Anyway, to each and every one of you who have taken time out of your life to watch live or to be watching later on the link, I really appreciate it. It's a tremendous honor for me to teach and to help people. It's now that I'm a few years into it and experiencing the joy of making an impact and kind of the fruits of all this effort, it's exciting. It's a really exciting journey. So just know, let that be an inspiration to you to do the same for yourself. We all have the ability to create whatever we want. And it's not that it's easy, but it's an honor and a privilege. And when you do, you're happier. So I wish you all the best. Each and every one of you have an amazing day or evening, because I know we've got a lot of people from out of the country. And again, send me your questions if you have them. And of course, find lots more information, classes. I do work with private clients all the time, all over the world. Everything's over at alexafisher.com. You can see my full range of offerings there. Anyway, stay awesome. You are awesome. Shine on. The world needs your light. And I am going to figure out a way to exit the call. Google! All right, you guys are the best. Take care. Bye.